All members are present. All members are present except for Murray. And I'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've got a public hearing tonight on the budget, and I will turn that over to Jennifer.
Okay, notice is hereby given to taxpayers of Atlanta Civil Town, Hamilton County, Indiana, that the proper officers of Atlanta Civil Town will conduct a public hearing on the year 2022 budget. Following this meeting, any 10 or more taxpayers may object to the budget, tax rate, or tax levy by filing an objection petition with the proper officers of Atlanta Civil Town, not more than 7 days after the hearing. The objection petition must identify the provisions of the budget, tax rate, or tax levy to which taxpayers object. If a petition is filed, Atlanta Civil Town shall adopt the budget with a finding concerning the objections in the petition and testimony presented. Following the aforementioned hearing, the proper officers of Atlanta Civil Town will meet to adopt the following budget. Adoption meeting date will be Monday, September 13th, 2021. Adoption meeting time will be 7 p.m. Adoption meeting location is 105 East Main Street. Estimated civil max levy is $157,463. Property tax cap estimate is $6,600. Budget estimates for general is $311,338. Local roads and street is $20,000. MVH is $38,300 for a total of $369,638. Maximum estimated funds to be raised for general fund is $148,820. MVH is $8,643 for an estimated amount of $157,463. Current tax levy for general is $128,324. MVH is $22,643 for a total of $150,967.
So now that Jennifer has read what the proposed budget is, do we have any comments from the floor? Anybody like, any questions, comments? Anybody at the board got any questions or comments on the budget? We have no comments or questions? I get a motion to close the budget meeting.
I make a motion to close the budget meeting.
I'll second.
You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm gonna go out, let's approve the minutes from the previous board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna jump ahead here and change up the agenda a little bit. Let's go into festival update. Jennifer, will you, if you would, give us an update as to things that are going on with the festival?
Okay, so far, we have got 165 booths that are rented. We've got 32 left. That is including, in the 500 block, we have 2 that's left there. 600 block is full. 700, we have 3 left. 800 block, we have 19 left. Main, 200 block is full. 300 block, we have 8 left. Food vendors, 1 left. So to date, we have deposited $32,140 for booth rentals, and our sponsors are up to $16,825. The WFMS trailer will not be able to be here, but I think they're going to do tents instead. They're trying to come up with some things besides the trailer. Was wondering if, do we still have that sign, Andy, for County Line, maybe to advertise for vendors and stuff?
Yeah.
That's
So it's
good.
165 total. That includes Main Street and food vendors and Broadway.
Not food vendors, just Main Street and Broadway. 165 full. We are having a little bit of trouble with the kid zone. There's just no more pay to play. So I've been talking with 2 or 3 different companies. We might end up having to actually pay for some stuff to go in there this year. So I'm waiting on a couple of quotes concerning that.
What was A1's 8,000?
Well, the first one was 8,000. The second one was 4,000. But I didn't really care for the. I have like an ice cream truck bounce house that you can't really see, and it was kind of creepy. So I was going to call and kind of change that out and see, you know. So we may end up having to pay, but Endeavor sponsors it for $1,000 anyway. So I mean, 1,000 of that would go toward that. So, so hopefully I'll have some more answers for that. Christian Church was wondering if we could put a couple porta pots down by their church by the alley this year.
How many do we usually rent each year for the porta pots?
We don't hardly have any porta pots anymore. I mean, I don't know, I'd have to get the contract out and look at it because we've gone to trailers. You know, I mean, I understand it's the church, but we gotta have them where we can service them. But, I mean, I can call them and talk to them, they're probably, I don't know, I looked at the contract, and they're probably $250 a piece now. But I'd have to call the public, or I mean, Bestway, and ask them.
I'm gonna call them, see what kind of pricing we have for them. We can make a decision at the next meeting.
Okay. Also, when I was at the state fair this past weekend, I seen, of course, a lot of the hand sanitizer, you know, stands, and some of their stands were like sponsored by different companies. So I thought about calling to see what kind of hand sanitizer, how many we could get, or what, you know, if I could get somebody to sponsor those. So we'll find out on that.
Good idea.
Yeah. We have a comedian that wants to have some stage time. So I'm talking with the stage guy to see what he thinks about. I told her we couldn't pay her, and I said she had to keep it clean because, you know, we have a lot of kids over there. Yeah, she says she has 2 shows, one for adults and one for kids. So we'll see what that brings. And then tonight we have, this is John Moore. He's the new fire chief from Jackson Township, so he wanted to come and meet you guys and tell you about
So like Jennifer said, I'm John Moore. I'm the chief of Jackson Township Fire. We do have our response plan together for the festival. It'll be kind of status quo like it's been the last several years. We'll have a ALS transport ambulance, 2 BLS carts. One may kind of alternate between ALS and BLS cart. We'll have 2 fire carts. We'll have our grass rig here as a quick response fire suppression vehicle. I've also talked to Cicero Township, to Jeff Souders. They will have their BLS ambulance down at the old firehouse, as well as their grass rig for a quick response fire unit. We're still kind of working out some details on staffing. As all of you are very aware, it's, quite a few man hours. So we're kind of figuring out some staffing costs and things like that. May bring in a couple outside agencies, pay them like a contract fee type thing to work with us on that with their staffing. The only details I have to really hash out are getting 2 final golf carts for the fire suppression or the fire carts. But other than that, I think we've got a pretty solid plan that matches pretty much, like I said, what's been kind of the status quo for the last several years. I'll be here all that weekend. I'll have a field supervisor, my EMS duty officer will also be here, and then we'll have our regular staffing at the station as well to fill in as if our ALS transporting unit that's here in town, if it has to pull away, we'll kind of rotate units. So if you have any questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability. This, as you know, is my first year doing this, so if you have any suggestions, questions, by all means, I'll do my best to either facilitate them or answer the question.
While this is your first year as chief, have you been involved in festival at all? Have you been up here? Have
Yeah,
you seen
I've
it?
been to the Earth Festival one time, I think. So
Okay,
I live over in Kirkland,
okay.
so not far away at all. So I'm full time on another fire department over in Anderson, and then I'm here as well. So I travel through Atlanta quite a bit.
I was telling John that Blaine could not be here this evening, but he was wanting to just do a meeting with like John and maybe one council member and I together. So during the day at some point. So we can pass around some times.
Yep. Whenever you're available, let me know, and I'll be here if you have a couple dates.
Okay.
So I think got something to work with. But yeah, just
Okay.
give me a couple dates, and I'll be here at least one of them.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions? Fire chief or anything about the Earth Festival? Well, thank you, John. Appreciate you. Glad to have you on and looking forward to working with you up there during the festival.
Thank you. I'll, like I said, Jennifer has my contact information. If anybody has any questions, suggestions, something that hasn't worked in the past, let me know. We'll try to figure out something that'll work better.
Okay? Appreciate that.
It's nice to have our Jackson Township trustee here this evening. Yes.
She's my muscle.
Okay, we'll go into reports. I'm gonna give you a report.
Alright. Underwater, the plant's treated 983,720 gallons since August 9th. Our average daily usage has been 70,265. Filters were backwashed on August 16th. Water meters have been read for the month of August. The pitless adapter is here, and Peerless Midwest will be here next week to install that on well number 2. We did repair one water leak at the park, and heads up, we had a leak outside the building, but it's a line coming from underneath the floor in the kitchen. It's galvanized pipe, no way to get to it, no way to disconnect it, have no idea where it runs, and I can't tell you how long that's gonna last. But at some point, that floor is gonna have to be cut out of the kitchen to fix this thing. Because, I mean,
I just rented it for a wedding, October 2nd. I don't know.
It working, it may not. It's fixed right now, but I'm telling you, it is in horrible condition. It's a galvanized pipe, about half of it's rusted completely away. There's no way to cut it, cap it, or anything. It's got a cap on it that's rusted, and I put a repair clamp on it, but we cleaned it, put a repair clamp on it, but it's gonna need to be dealt with. It's the same, those same rusty lines run all the way around to the bathroom out there. They're all steel lines, they're all buried in the ground, it's rusting away.
Real tape's not gonna work in this case.
And hopefully it'll last another year or so, but we'll just have to see. And then under wastewater, been performing daily checks at the lift station and the sewer plant. The lift station has pumped 978,263 gallons of water. We're actually below our consumption for the first time. We were down to 69,875 on our daily wastewater. Been collecting sewer samples weekly. The sewer plant is closed, and we're not currently discharging. I did have US Hydro back out to get the turtle out of the pipe. We finally got that cleared, so that's good. Then under streets, I'm getting a paving contract signed tomorrow. I'll be submitting that this week. The dump truck is at Midstate now. Getting the bed installed. I've given it to him, but I'm getting the purchase agreement for the water plant this week. I'm getting it signed either tomorrow or the day after, and then I'm gonna get that down to Pinnacle Title to get that scheduling closed. The repair work on the concession stand and the press box is gonna be completed this week, probably by Wednesday.
It looks nice.
They've got most of it done. And under building, I had one building inspection, I did one final inspection, I had one zoning inquiry, and 2 building permit inquiries. That's all we got. If you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions or comments, Randy? Okay, we'll move on. Jennifer? You got anything?
The only thing I was gonna say that the website is up and running now, so everything went smoothly there. He's gonna come in and train Andy and I, and then once he does that, then he'll submit an invoice. So he did a good job and finally got it all straightened out, so. The ARP money that we received, to actually spend that money, we have to have a plan in place. And that would be through a resolution saying that we are actually just going to use that money for equipment is what you guys wanted to do that for. So try and have a resolution ready for next meeting that can be signed, and then we can start spending that money. But until then, we have to have that in place before we do. They were tossing around that we might have to do an additional appropriation, but they decided, State Board of Accounts decided that we don't have to do that. But we do have to have this resolution in place, saying that you have a plan and what you're gonna spend this money on. The only other thing was, did we decide about the train show, about paving? Did they say?
Is the website atlantaindiana.com still?
Mhm.
Because it's not found.
It is.
Error.
It's
Is it
there,
up?
yeah.
Yeah.
What about paving? Because I said it's October. That's the first or second week of October.
So their train show, they was wanting it the 2nd, so is it safe to tell them then they can have it, or?
I would just think that they could, if, there's quite a bit of paving, and if, they came in the first week, they could work, on some other areas besides Main Street and probably work around that,
Okay,
I believe.
You said they're doing it the 2nd?
that's what they said?
Yeah, they're gonna start the 4th.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I will call them and let them know. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
So they need to make one change already. Tuesdays.
Thank you, I'll put them on.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Jeff?
The most significant thing I have is mosquitoes have tested positive for West Nile in Atlanta. So, I will be looking at potential standing water type issues. We haven't had that because it's been so dry. So the tires that are laying around and that kind of thing are not holding any water. So there's not a lot of enforcement that I can do with that. High grass, high weeds, that kind of thing obviously is important to, reducing some of the mosquito population. But I did want everybody to be aware that there has been positive West Nile test in town.
Okay. All right, thank you. Andy, does the county contacted you about spraying or anything like that? I know sometimes when they get a
Monday
positive.
after. That's all. Jennifer put it on the website. The anchor did something with it.
Put it on Facebook. They were out
Yeah,
here.
they called me.
Okay,
They sprayed-
one day last week it
We sprayed
was.
last Monday night about 10:30.
okay.
Yeah.
I know you say they usually offer whenever, especially if there's a positive in West Niles, they usually offer to come up to municipalities that don't have their own
Yeah, the
equipment.
trap was down by the street garage. That's where we caught that.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll go on to the next thing here. Alex, we'll go with you. and let you-
Thanks. All right, I want to start with the ordinance issue. I know it's taken us a little bit of time to get our heads around exactly what was going on with this stuff, and I think we've got a pretty good idea now. I sent a copy of this to Murray on Friday. I hope I have enough for everybody here. I'll take one and pass it around. You guys can all see it. This is what we are proposing to have you guys pass. This would handle all of the water stuff, water utility stuff. It doesn't address sewer. We would have a separate one for sewer. What I told Murray is we've got a second version of it that I didn't bring. It's shorter. But I don't think the shorter one, as opposed to this long form one, is what we want. When we backtrack this, what we figured out is that the folks from American Legal Publishing gave you guys these two, so 2019-0501 and 0502, and these were proposals to update the fee schedules associated with water and sewer. And then they also gave you this 2020-0101, which kind of went along with it, and it was to update the utility billing. The problem is none of these addressed the idea of having both an availability fee and a tap fee. And I think that's been one of the big things. You guys want to be able to charge people an availability fee. Anybody that is going to hook up to the town's water or the town's sewer will pay a fee for having the privilege of doing that. And then there was the desire to have a separate tap fee in case they weren't doing the work themselves. If they asked Atlanta to take on the project of actually connecting them. The way the old ordinance was written didn't do a great job of differentiating between the two types of fees. It really only explained one fee. And so when Murray explained this to us, it was important to be able to charge both. Everybody's going to pay the availability fee. The tap fee only comes into play if they aren't going to take on the project themselves, if they're going to ask Atlanta to do the tap fee. Prior legal counsel was given the project, and they proposed an ordinance, but their solution was simply to strike all references to the tap fee from the existing language, which also didn't solve the problem. So what we've proposed here is essentially changing the language, not just the fee structure, but actually making it crystal clear that there are two separate fees. One's an availability fee and then one is a tap fee. Now, we want some input from you guys because we just used the amounts that were in here and they may be outdated. So this is based on, I think, $1,000 availability fee. If you guys want more, you want less on that, we can change that number at the snap of a finger.
Yeah, didn't you get a copy of our availability fee ordinance?
We've got, yeah, that's one of the things that,
Because it breaks it down. I think.
yes, and this was these two, I think it was 0501 that was,
So it's like,
yeah, this was water. But what we want to do is not just amend the table with the new table, because if we, and these have been passed, but if we just stick with this, we're stuck with the bad language that doesn't differentiate between
No.
tap fees and availability fees.
right, but I'm saying the price is higher than what's in here. It's-
Okay,
it's-
so we can make it whatever you guys want it to be, but also with the tap fee, the way we have it set up in there, and again, we can make some tweaks and adjustments to this, but essentially what we've said is if you, the new homeowner, want to take on that project, you have to get it approved by Atlanta. That way Atlanta can be certain that the professional that's doing it is licensed, bonded, knows what they're doing. and insured. And if they don't wanna do it, then what we're saying is, fine, Atlanta will hire somebody to do it, and that cost is yours. If you wanna add an administrative fee on top of that for the time somebody takes to pick up the phone and hire somebody for them, we can do that. So we want a little bit of input from you guys, but basically we wanted to hand you this so you can begin to look at the form on there and make sure it takes care of what you want. You got a question?
No, they're on building department, we changed utilities.
Okay, we can adjust that.
Yeah, I mean, it just so happens on both, but it's not always that way.
We can make it, but again, we wanted to get this in your hands, all right? I know this has been important, it's been bugging Murray that we need to get it done. And that's gonna lead into the second part of this. I know before we touch sewer, we wanted to find out how this looks to you, because if we have our way, we'll do the same sort of thing for sewer, but timing becomes an issue as well. And everything we've gotten so far, between the ordinances and the contract for the land, we've gotten it, and it's been sort of and we needed it last Tuesday. And some of that is probably a reaction to prior council just didn't get it done, and maybe we can smooth that out. I don't wanna see you guys go over the amount of time we've kind of built in and allotted. And so I just wanna make sure you guys know, what we've done so far this month, we are approaching the 20 hours we kind of figured we were gonna need. Now we're close to the end of the month, but you guys are gonna have to decide, how important is it that we get sewer done next week versus waiting another week, and then we got a whole new month and a whole new allocation of time. So I don't wanna make you guys feel like we wanna push your stuff off, but it takes a while to do stuff like this when we are wading through the old ordinances and trying to figure out what prior council did. So, and I told y'all when I sent the original proposal up, I'll let you know before we go over on hours every time, so that you can say, okay, let's wait, we can wait 2 weeks, or no, this truly is an emergency. But I just wanna make sure that you guys are aware, we're getting close there, and when we get the email saying, okay, we need this contract, and how fast can you get it, how fast can you get it? I can get it to you awful fast, but if that's all we're doing, we're gonna get all these things done in 1 month, and then we're gonna be sitting around the next month, and that's not gonna work well with the budget, if you guys have got a set amount of time. So take a look at that, let us know what you think, and if you like the format, then we'll do the same type of long form for sewer. If you want us to cut it back short, we will, but I don't think it takes care of what you need in the short form. So those are yours to keep to look at. We had, and I don't know if it was the beginning of this month or the end of July, I was gonna pass this around. I only brought one because I want it back. I hesitate to give stuff like this to folks because I'm always afraid then they're gonna use it and I'm gonna end up shaking my head later after they do. We had a Freedom of Information Act request, I think that you sent to me. When we get those, it's a letter sort of like this that we're gonna wanna send out, but there's very strict time limits on responding. Letters like this have to go out within 7 days, so if you guys get those requests, just send them to me like,
Now.
yeah, now, right, last Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Send them to me.
The response letter doesn't have to have the information they're requesting.
It does not, that's right. We just have to have a response out to them saying,
Right.
okay, that's exactly right. Which is why I say, I wanted you guys to see what the letter's gonna look like, but then I wanna take it back so that you don't send it out and mess something up. But the important one is if we get those requests, let me know so we can at least get the form out that has to go out by statute. Okay.
I was gonna ask you on this availability permit, $1,000, yeah, $1,000, is that sufficient?
That's not the right fee.
That's not
We're
what we
talking-
raised.
We have a different ordinance for that.
We're talking, okay,
That has to be amended in that table.
But all I'm gonna do is transfer the table over into this
Right.
ordinance. We're not gonna
Okay,
have
I
a separate ordinance.
Right.
This should take care of everything.
Right.
So this is more for you guys as to form and content, but in terms of the specific fee numbers,
Yeah, I think
we can plug in this new table.
water's around 1,200 and sewer's almost double that, it's like
About
2,100.
24, I think. So I've got it over there if you
Water's
need it.
about,
Yeah.
sewer's about double what water is.
But then also if you wanna add any sort of administrative fee into the tap thing, because right now the way we have it written is just, if they don't want to take on the tapping themselves and they ask Atlanta to do it, we're passing on the entirety of the cost to them. But if you wanna add some sort of administrative fee to cover the time spent by, whether it's you or somebody else, to actually arrange that, we're well within our rights to add some sort of administrative fee as well. So it's just up to you guys whether you wanna add it in. Update on the camera contract. I know John was the one at the last meeting. We're gonna try to continue to do that, to switch off and on so that you get the two different skill sets here. But my understanding is he had suggested that they trim down the original proposal that they gave us just to cover sort of the study that they were gonna do, or the feasibility. Have they gotten you guys a new contract back?
He sent me an
We're-
invoice for that.
He's doing it, it's $360 each to do his actual
Yeah.
design. And based on our actual design, that was set the final cost.
Did he give you a contract for doing that design? Oh, okay, that's just one to
Just an
check on
invoice.
the progress of that, because we hadn't seen this one. All right, the foreclosure, I want to talk about that just real briefly, the Railroad Street property. Murray was in our office last week, we met with him primarily about the ordinance, but we talked about the foreclosure as well. We looked at the statutes, and actually, the biggest thing that was holding us up was the fact that there are a whole lot of tax liens on that property, and we did not want Atlanta to foreclose on it and take the property subject to the taxes. What we've figured out though is that if we can get Hamilton County to waive those taxes, they have the authority to do so. We've also spoken to the state of Indiana, and the state of Indiana has said if we get the county to waive the taxes, then they would go along with that program. That should pave the way for us to begin the foreclosure process, but we do need to find out who at the county level has the authority to waive those taxes. So, I can continue to look into that, but if you all know, okay, if you all know somebody, that I know we've already been dealing with them, but that's the next step, is just getting the right person to agree to waive those taxes. I have no doubt that they will, because if they don't, what you end up with is properties that become a blight on the community, because no township would ever take them back if they're just gonna take it subject to all the taxes. And the county's not gonna want houses falling apart any more than the town does, so we just need to talk to the right person at the county and get them to put that in writing, that they'll waive the taxes if we foreclose it. So, I just wanted to let you know what was going on with that one.
You said were there federal taxes too?
No, they're state tax
Okay.
liens,
Okay.
property tax liens, but they amounted to about $40,000. And what we didn't wanna have happen is you guys take the time and spend the money to go through the foreclosure process. The foreclosure would clean off all of the judgment liens, and there are hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of judgment liens, but those can get wiped off with the foreclosure. The tax liens would not get wiped off by the foreclosure. So what we could end up with is a situation where we foreclose on the property that
They've eliminated for
and that's what I say, I can't imagine that they wouldn't, they have every reason to do it.
about 20 years ago, we foreclosed on them.
Okay.
They waived them.
Yeah, and that's the same process we need to do, and then the state said they would go along with that as well, so it's just a matter of, we gotta get the right county person to sign it, so we do that. Anything else? Oh, last thing, I know we got you guys back the contract for the property over here, did that get signed?
It will be in the next couple of days.
Okay, I just wanted to check the
So,
progress.
yeah, I gave it to him today, his wife's out of town, so he's waiting for her to get back and get it signed.
Yeah, I just wanted to check the progress. That's all I have, unless anybody has questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Alex?
Anything on annexation?
I'm sorry?
Anything on annexation?
Okay, was that brought up last time? That
Yeah.
wasn't something John and I talked about before the meeting tonight, so I'm
Oh.
not sure where that was. And
Yeah,
Murray
it was
in the
something that
office.
we'd been batting around. We need to move on the, mid Indiana.
Need to have a plan commission meeting.
Well, yeah, that too.
Murray didn't bring that up when he was in the office the other day either, so no, I don't have.
Okay.
Right now, with now Murray here, I think Murray was in contact with the county about the two roads down there. Remember, we gotta
That's
get those
right.
two
Gotta
roads
get those
before
two
we can do anything
contiguous.
else and move forward.
Two
So-
roads. Which ones were they?
South end of Central and what's that other one there? Andy?
Madison?
What's that other street there?
Morris.
Morris.
Morris and South Central. We need to get those so that everything's contiguous. And Murray was talking to
County.
Mark Harebrant, I believe, from the county about that.
About us.
So I'm still at a standstill until that gets resolved there. We can't move forward with anything.
South Central and
It's the last block of Central, southwest block of South Central, and Morris Street. I had a drainage board meeting that one of the commissioners was at. and They need something in writing about us basically petitioning to take those two roads over. But they basically have said, once we get them something in writing, that they will vote on it, and pass it at their meeting. They're all in agreement to do it.
I'll move on that then too.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything? Nope.
Thanks for giving me a few minutes.
Oh, more than welcome. Thanks for the information. Appreciate that. And with some of the conversation that Alex just mentioned there, speaking with Murray this evening before the meeting, he asked me if the council would set up a meeting for next Monday to discuss these ordinances and things, and the sewer ordinances and the water ordinance. So he said he would be available towards morning or evening, whatever it be, but he'd be back Monday. And he said Monday worked best for him, so he's good with anything.
What date is it?
30th, I believe.
30th.
This leads into some of the information that they need back pertaining to these new ordinance forms and stuff, and we can address the water and the sewer at that time, and we got this here to review.
Murray's got it too. I sent that to him on Friday, so he won't
Okay.
be in the dark.
So we can,
We'll do it in the morning?
whatever works best. I checked my schedule, I didn't have anything on mine, so whatever works for everybody else. I'll be available.
Morning?
I'm good, either way. I'm good.
Do it, say 9 o'clock?
Do it, start at 9.
Yeah, starting at 9, because I don't know how long it'll take.
I guess maybe a couple hours or so, just depending on, what all we want to discuss and what other, if there's anything else that we need to add to this. As far as the water and sewer, that's what he was wanting to mainly concentrate, was on these ordinances here. Well, everyone good for 9 o'clock on the 30th? Okay, I will pass that on to Murray. Could you advertise for that, Jennifer? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. I got chicken scratches all over my notes here, so bear with me if I miss something. Okay, let's go into old business. And the first thing on there is the stop sign ordinance. We have two ordinances here, and this is to change the location of the stop signs on South Central Street that Andy requested last board meeting. Let's see which one is here. He has this one here. Okay, this is an ordinance to remove a stop sign intersection due to practical concerns relating to underground utilities in the proximity of the nearby drives. That is ordinance 2021-08-01, and that will rescind the original location for that intersection for stop signs.
I move that we approve that ordinance 2021-801.
I got a motion to approve, got a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, I think you have to suspend the rules because it's an ordinance.
Oh.
So you have to do a reading and then you have to suspend the rules and then approve it. If you guys want to do it, if you're going to do it.
We have to pass it immediately.
To pass them, you have to do that. You have to do a reading and then you have to suspend and then you have to approve it.
But you don't have to do that if there's a fine attached to it. If you're gonna do it in one reading, you're rescinding it. You should only have to suspend the rules on the one you're getting ready to pass.
I don't know.
What's that, Alex?
What do you think?
This is the first I'm hearing of this particular ordinance. Where's the stop sign?
It's down in Central Florida. We passed one to put one in, but we have too many conflicts with mailboxes, utilities,
Do you have a copy of the ordinance?
driveway. They do, I don't.
Yeah.
This is something good. I'm not the ordinance guy.
Do you have,
I've not seen the ordinance or
No.
the proposed ordinance.
hold on.
We have one we already passed.
Okay.
We just need to move it down the south block because of some conflicts. That's what it was for.
And there's not physically a sign there yet.
No,
Yeah.
You haven't even put the sign up.
No,
Where did
no,
you move it from?
no.
Yeah.
That's why.
No,
that's
it's,
what we went to do locates and stuff on it. I have too many conflicts with underground utilities.
Bear with me. You said all that. I know this.
Take those on it. It took forever to get signs.
Just to get a mayor ball.
Way behind.
Okay, here. Okay, here it is, I'm sorry. That's the original.
Air conditioner break.
75.
75, yeah. Broken air conditioner.
It was on a minute ago.
It was on a minute ago.
Yeah, because it got to 76.
Okay, so this isn't, even, it's not a stop sign,
This,
it's a
this is,
speed
wait a
limit
minute,
sign.
yeah,
No,
this
well,
is
she
a
gave
stop
you the wrong
sign.
one.
Okay.
There's a stop sign, sorry.
We did both.
So, okay, didn't we just amend the original ordinance and add the stop sign ordinance and add these intersections to it? Didn't we?
Yeah.
Which is what
I think so.
amended the original ordinance.
Is it morning yet?
Which one do you want to change?
South Central, the road, yeah, it's going to South Central and Jackson. I think that's one of these two that's down there.
Passage of publication. You said this one's passed. Well, once it's passed, it can be amended, and or repealed.
Yeah, which I think that's what they have to amend it for.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what, which is.
It's easier to amend it than to repeal and replace it. Well, you can amend it, all right, so what was the question again? Somebody said, what's the?
Do we have to have a reading and suspend the rules and accept, or can we just go ahead and amend it?
I'd have to read the code site, the Indiana code site.
Uh-huh.
And I don't unfortunately have the entire Indiana code complete to memory, so.
I don't think
If
anybody
you want that
does.
answer, I'm gonna have to go back and look up the Indiana code site.
Okay,
Table
let's
this.
just table it until the next meeting, give you
We
the
can have an
opportunity.
answer, but I have an answer tomorrow.
Yeah, that's when you pass one. If you pass one, it has to find it, that's all.
You probably know better than I do. Like I said, I haven't memorized that code section. I have to go back and.
I don't know, so it says, I don't know.
Let's just
Table
table it until he has the opportunity to look at
I'll
this
double check.
statute and then make sure we
Do
do
we
this
need a motion to
correctly.
table it?
Do we need a motion to table this?
Make a motion to table it to the next meeting.
Can you send that in and email it?
Say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, we got it.
We need a little trivet we pass around. This week, I move, you second.
Okay, one other item under old business. Is, there's a tree down at 320 East Main Street that a big limb had fallen out of. And we had looked at that and originally said that it didn't need to come down. The homeowner is here, Linda Mays, and she has called and asked for someone to come down, take a look at it, and talk to her, and I did. And in doing so, looking at the tree, I told her I'd get a outside opinion, which is from the tree service that's been doing tree cutting and trimming around town. He came down and looked at it, and his opinion is that it needs to come down. He says there at the fork where that one limb fell off, it looked like it was rotting in there, whatnot, and he couldn't guarantee, he couldn't say whether it would last a year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, but it is a big tree that he says, in his opinion, does have some deteriorating to the stump and could split. So,
Well, it came down for a reason. Nothing happened, it just fell.
I had him to give me a estimate, and this is what it would cost to remove the tree. It's
2,600?
That isn't
20.
one there, is it?
No, it's 2,300. It's $1,850 to take the tree down and $450 to grind the stump out and remove the stump. Here's the estimate if you don't like to see it. I've cut a lot of trees down in my time, and I actually went down there, and I originally thought it didn't need to come down after meeting with him, and he pointed out some things to me that I overlooked apparently, and his opinion was that, you know, it needs to come down. So I told Linda that I would bring this before the council, and we can vote on it as to whether you guys feel that it needs to come down. Like I say, what he showed me, like I said, I overlooked some of that stuff apparently when I originally went down there. I mean, you drive by it, it looks beautiful. There's leaves in it. There's no dead limbs up in the top of it, but it's all right there at the stump where the limb had come off of it.
We don't need to get more than one appraisal.
I can get you one that's about double this if you want it.
Yeah, this
I
guy
went
is,
through the whole, I went through the whole tree process on these other ones we had done.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of money, but
They
I
were the
used,
cheapest. I mean, there's only one
Okay.
person that's cheaper, but all the damage that comes along with it isn't worth it,
No.
so.
yeah,
That's
And they did an excellent job. I mean, their cleanup and everything was top notch. I mean, when they were up there on Main Street,
Mm-hmm.
they were getting, they blew the people's yards out and everything.
Cool.
Dust blew.
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't know if we needed
Yeah.
one.
I'd like to make a
Okay.
motion that the town approve and cutting the tree down and accepting Wolford Tree Service bid to do so, which is a total of $2,300 some odd dollars.
okay,
I'll second.
I got a motion and I got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I thank you very much.
Andy, can you get a hold of him and
Yeah, I'll call them tomorrow.
have him, he said he still had some others here in town, so he's still
Yeah.
available around this area, so.
Tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go into new business. Has anybody got anything under new business? If not,
Has anyone heard anything? I seen on TV where one of the trash companies' names was Republic, and they were having some difficulty picking up trash because they don't have enough drivers due to COVID and this and everything, you know. Has anyone heard anything like that?
They have trouble getting trash cans. There's a shortage on trash cans.
The trash cans, it may have been trash, I thought it was drivers, but I heard something about it,
Because I'm completely out.
and I didn't know whether they contacted you about it.
We're having just trouble getting trash cans, trash and
So
recycle
then-
cans.
Normal pickup will stay the same, nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed there, so.
yeah, I noticed they must be having some, a little bit of issues, because I know they used to pick my trash up like at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
They changed the whole route.